Doing it right up. I'm eating quail with, actually got to grab those off the fire. I got cubed beaver tail in a little frying pan. I'm crisping it up so it's basically like pork rind. In fact, it looks like pork rind before you cook it, and then exactly like it when you're finished cooking it, and it tastes very similar as well. I love them, and tail often goes to waste, so I would take every trapper's beaver tails if I could. The quail is domestic, but extremely easy to raise compared to other fowl. Very fast growing. So I've grown these in the past, or raised these in the past, including hatching them out myself. So basically what you do, buy a male or a couple of males and a bunch of females, and they'll lay eggs like one every day or two. Little tiny eggs. Those eggs are really, really tasty. Well, they probably taste the same as chicken eggs, but they're really healthy. They actually have a nutrition profile that's quite a bit better than a typical chicken egg, especially if you're feeding it organic food. I'd like to feed like as many bugs and green grass and all that kind of stuff as well, and then some organic food if necessary. They don't forage like chickens, unfortunately. When I raise chickens, what I do is just let them free range, and they get all of their own food during the summer, spring, summer, and fall from what they forage themselves, so I don't have to buy any food. And then I'll throw greens and stuff like that, leftover food, things like that. So there's no input, no food costs. The quail, you do have to buy some commercial food because these things have been bred specifically or for so long domestically that they're not capable of taking care of themselves. But the beauty is that they grow really fast. They lay a lot of eggs. You can hatch out eggs, and 6 weeks later those hatchlings will be mature and will be laying their own eggs. I love the meat. It's very easy to process. So basically you can butcher them yourself. They're easy to dunk in hot water and pluck, and prolific, like I said. You can grow them so fast. I forget how many. I would hatch like 50 at a time, and 6 weeks later those things are all ready for the freezer for whatever you're doing with them. So I'll be doing that this year. I'll show you more of that. But this meal consists of the beaver tail that I'm going to have in a minute, chaga tea that's made with sap from the trees, so maple sap, so it's sweet. The longer it sits on the stove, the sweeter it gets. That's a chaga mushroom. If you check in the link below or go to my food playlist, you'll see a couple of videos on how I harvest it and how I process it ready for tea, and also talk about the health benefits of it. What else? Then I've got sourdough bread actually that I might have before bed or later. I have been on a keto diet for most of this winter, but it's not sustainable for me trying to live more and more off the land here. I have to be able to eat whatever I can acquire, and at this time of year it's maple syrup. The bread can be made or is made from whole wheat, so by buying whole wheat kernels, especially organic, really healthy, but also lasts pretty well forever if you keep them away from sunlight and moisture. So I can store those underground in an airtight pail or something, and just grind it as we need it in order to make sourdough bread. The sourdough bread, the sourdough fermentation process unlocks that much more nutrition, so again, really healthy. So lots and lots of ways to get more and more self-reliant with my food, but I have to be willing to have a variety in my diet, but also get over some of the squeamishness, such as eating beaver tail and things like that. That'll be doing a lot more of this year, so particularly this fall. I'll be mainly eating fish, and probably get a turkey this spring, and then a few other things that I can show you that I'll be getting from the land. And then the mushroom season will be starting soon. So that's going to be a continual learning process, and probably take me a few years before I get to the point where I can harvest and eat all of the food that I'm able to grow or acquire myself, forage and hunt and fish. Anyway, I thought you might be interested in that as I'm finishing up dinner here. Cali's staying outside. She's finding it too warm in here. She wants to sit out on the porch in the snow, and I'll let her do that until it starts getting dark, and then I'm just gonna have to ask her or tell her she has to come in and go to bed. So really good though. It's basically like chicken, although it's a little tough. So better if you simmer these things to break it down, much like I would do a rabbit typically. But I like it like this, like a chicken wing.